Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Today, my topic for presentation is digital operating rooms. My name is Ameya Shete. I represent SB Dynamite Private Limited from Mumbai. So today I'll be speaking on digitization in the operating rooms. If we all have seen the digital transformation that this country has witnessed, but has it now been implemented in our operating rooms as well? That is what we need to understand. And then how do we go about implementing or creating a digital footprint in our operating room? That is what my presentation is all about. So as you can see, this is a typical highway or a bridge. What does a highway or a bridge do? It is basically connecting point A to point B so that there is a faster movement of traffic between the 2 points. Similarly, when we say a digitization in the operating room, we essentially mean that we are trying to connect two ends so that data, in this case, or video, as we all see, can be transmitted from one point to the other. Today I am going to give you a digital perspective in the operating room. We have a lot of cameras, a lot of screens within the operating room, but can we think of some wish list which is far more digital in nature, far more looking ahead, technologically advanced? So what can be your wish list? So would you like to record surgeries from different sources at a single location under patient context? Would you like to create a repository of your cases? Would you like to share important path-breaking cases with the medical fraternity? Would you like to access surgical recordings from any location? Would you like to view independent views on the displays or on the medical systems that you have or monitors that you have within the OT? Or would you like to access the PACS, HIS, or your MRI, CT scan reports from the OR? So this sounds like a wish list to all of you, or this may sound like a wish list. Today, there are a lot of operating theaters who may have these functionalities also, but whether this is a wish list or a reality. So to put it simply, this is a simple reality, or this is the future in which the OT is moving right now, or the OT complex is moving right now. So we need to create a digital bridge within the OT where we have four important pillars, or wherein OT can be digitized. In this era of robotic surgeries, digital OT is not a necessity. Digital OT is not a good to have thing, but it is a must have thing that we see. So what are the four different pillars for this digital bridge? One is that you have multiple image sources and multiple monitors. So you need to connect all of them onto one single platform. The anesthetist team and the surgical team have to collaborate. The surgeon's comfort has to be taken into account. That's why multiple sources have to come onto one single platform. Second is documenting and sharing for different types of purposes, maybe medical, legal, teaching, learning, conferences, different types of purposes that we see. The third is archival and retrieval. So we do record surgeries in the patient context, but how are we able to retrieve that? Do we have to search for folders, go to different locations, then merge different types of recordings that have been saved? So that is where archival and retrieval comes in, and expert opinion. Telemedicine is already a buzzword, but now we have also seeing that from the OT itself, there are expert opinions being sought outside the OT. So these are the four pillars or blocks of the digital bridge. Then going forward, can an operating room remain digitally isolated? Can you be away from digitization? That is the question. So the answer to that is a big no. So what are the building blocks of making your OT digitized or digitizing your OT? First is there are different video sources or different technologies within the OR. Then you have different equipments or different devices which have which have a display, which have an video output. So first these things need to talk to each other. They need to be integrated. That's when you can create a digital OR. When you merge these two things, it will create a digital footprint for you inside the operating room. This will help you for training, education, medical, legal, recording, storing, archiving, multiple things that are there within the institute itself. What will that help is create a repository. It will also enable a decision support system, so which goes back like a feedback into your OT, and better surgical outcomes are sought for. And this will be done with the help of another two buzzwords which are there, which even our honorable Prime Minister has been talking about: AI and ML, artificial intelligence and machine learning. And what do we see the output of all this is enhanced productivity. So these are some of the building blocks of the digital OR, where you can have video technology, different equipments, they talk to each other, bring onto single platform, record it, store it, retrieve it. You can stream it, you can do video conferencing, and create a decision support system wherein the surgical outcomes can be enhanced. Now, going forward, what is the functionality that we should look at when we are trying to digitize the OR? First is the control of inputs and outputs. When I say inputs, these are different equipments or different sources which have a display. So they have to be controlled from a single destination or single source. They need to be controlled. Second, you should have the option of connecting various sources. You can't just have fixed sources, one or two. You need to have multiple sources that can be connected. Third is routing of images and data. So if you have two different slave monitors in the OR, you should be able to see two different sources on those two different displays. So that is the third point. Fourth is recording of videos and snapshots. You should be able to either record the entire surgery, record the surgery in bits and pieces, take snapshots, do video editing. All of those things should be possible. The fifth one is the PACS and HIS integration. So you should be able to pull in data from your existing PACS system or HIS system, so that you can view the CT scan, MRI, lab reports, patient demographics right inside the OT without going anywhere. You should be able to see everything from within the OT itself. The sixth one is the software streaming. Streaming. To give you a simple example, it is like YouTube. We see YouTube videos with audio and video, correct? Similarly, you should be able to stream your surgeries within the hospital and outside the hospital as well, so that people can see. Maybe for doctors, patients, relatives, the surgeries can be streamed. Last but not the least is video conferencing. When I spoke about streaming, it was one-way communication, whereas video conferencing is bi-directional or both ways. So like I am talking to you right now, people should be able to ask you questions during the surgery itself. So that can be students, that can be patients, anyone. Or if you're seeking an expert opinion from somewhere outside, that you should be able to do seamlessly without laying down cables, without laying down heavy infrastructure, compromising on the infection control protocols. All this has to be seamlessly done. So this has to be controlled through a central monitor or a central system. And very important part is that it has to be vendor neutral. You should be able to connect sources from any vendor, or you should be able to connect a camera, a laparoscope, an anesthesia machine from different vendors and bring them onto a single platform. So going forward, how do we design such a system? There are very important points how on designing or design considerations, whether you are a greenfield project, whether you are starting a new hospital, or you are an existing hospital and you want to upgrade. How do we design this entire integration solution, or how do you digitize your OT? So first we need to understand is how many medical imaging systems need to be supported simultaneously. So how many sources or how many inputs do you need to see at any given point of time together at one point of time? So you may want to see a surgical light camera and a patient monitor together, or maybe a microscope and an anesthesia workstation together. So at a time, what is the maximum number of inputs that you require is what needs to be identified. Second, what is the resolution that you need? Now, there are different types of resolutions that are available. The latest being 4K. Now you have systems which have coming in 8K also. So whether you want it in full K, 4K, full HD, or 3D. Now 3D, if you are having a 3D source, then you can have a 3D monitor as well and a 3D recording too. The next is what is the functionality that you are looking at. So what is the number and resolution of the recording channels, streaming, whether you require it or not. If you just want to do it within the hospital, you need streaming. If you want to do video conferencing, so that is what you need to identify. What are your core functionalities that you want? Next is how many display monitors are required. Whether you want an in-wall large screen monitors which are flushed in the wall itself. Do you need monitors on the light arm, touchscreen panels, whether the system should be medical grade or non-medical grade. Whenever you have monitors which are outside the surgical field, you may do with a non-medical grade or a commercial grade monitor as well. Whereas when it comes to the surgical field, it has to be a medical grade monitor. Next is what are the post-op workflows that need to be supported? Do you need to edit your surgical recordings that are there? Do you need to archive it? Do you want your students to see them later on? Do you want to retrieve it easily through by sort function where you can put in a date or a patient ID or a doctor's name or a surgery name, and you could just retrieve all the recordings. And last is DICOM integration, which is a format which supports the recordings that are there. Next is what is the existing infra which is available. Is there a possibility of in-wall mounting? If you are doing a modular operating theater, if it's a stainless steel, we'll be able to flush it within that. Whether enough space is available or not. What is the type of OT? Whether it's a modular OT, whether it's a brickwork OT, that needs to be identified in order to implement a integration system. Seventh is, and the most important, I think each one of you would be wondering, I have spoken so much about integration, but what is the cost? What is the budget that we require? So that also completely depends on the choice of technology. Suppose if you want to scale up, yeah, or if you want fixed systems, you can go ahead with technologies like Matrix or VoIP. VoIP means Video over Internet Protocol. VoIP is the most common. Then whether you want monitors which are medical grade or commercial grade, that you can identify. And the sizes, whether you need a 55-inch monitor or a 49-inch monitor, 32-inch, that will determine your complete design and ultimately the budget for the solution. So these are the main considerations when you are designing. We design a OT for modular, we design the panels, we design the flooring, we design the lights. But now this is a time that obviously you will also have to start looking at design considerations for making your OT digitized. Completely digital OT is what we envisage or what is there in future. So when if you are planning your infra right now, if you are planning a new hospital, this is the right time when you should give some thought to this as well, so that your OTs can be future proof, they can be future ready for all the technologies that are coming. So this is a typical 2D layout that I'm showing you. You have a in-wall medical console here. You have different sources which are connected here, viewing monitors which are medical grade, in-wall medical glass consoles. This is how the cabling is done. You have patch panels on the pendants. You have a VC trolley, that is a video conferencing trolley, which has an encoder, decoder, all of that. So this is a typical layout that you could see for a digital OR. Uh, Going forward, this is a typical matrix technology solution that is available now. And last but not the least, these are some of the images where integration has already been implemented. You have a big screen where you can view things like PIP, PAP, and chord view, that is picture in picture, picture and chord views. For chord views, you can view 4 different sources at a time. You can stream 4 different sources at a time. Then if you see, these are all flushed in the wall. It's a big screen. It's a commercial grade screen. These are reputed institutes within our country today which have already implemented OT integration. So thank you everyone. With that, I leave you with a thought, whether or not you go in for a digital, or today we are doing all our banking transactions digitally. OT is one such area which is very critical, very important for each one of us here. So please do give it a thought on digitization of OT. Thank you.